Hi there. Welcome to Doga with Kimberly and Mookie, who's very busy grooming himself right now. This is episode 4 of Doga with Woof Driver. And today's episode, we're going to be doing a little more forward folding, which is calming and cooling for the nervous system. And then also, one of the things I promised in our last episode was a back bend. So we're going to go over a couple back bends. And the great thing about back bends is they are a way to open up through the chest and the heart center to counter how we typically spend our days here or with our pets or, picking things up. So how can we do a little bit more of an opening through the chest? So that's what we're going to be working on today. One of the things for anyone who's new that I wanted to mention with regard to Doga is basically it's a lot of doing yoga on our own as humans and then incorporating our dogs. You may notice as a yoga mat is rolled out, pets and probably children are drawn to it like moths to a flame. And so the great thing is why not incorporate them, allowing them to actually be part of your process. So I like to have a couple of cool tools nearby. One is a yoga block. Don't worry, you don't have to go out and purchase a yoga block if you don't have one. They can be helpful for some of the poses, but they're not necessary. You can even just grab something that you have around the house, such as a pillow, maybe some firmer pillows. And then another thing, I always just like to have live things, such as plants. Cup of tea, always helpful. You want to stay hydrated during your practice. You also want to avoid practicing on a super full stomach, okay, particularly with the twists. And then the last tool that I love to use is lavender oil. And the great thing about lavender oil is you can put it directly on your skin. And with pets, oh, Mookie, would you mind stopping grooming for a moment? There we go. And then for him, sometimes he smells it, sometimes he's not so interested. I think he'd rather be grooming. But we wouldn't necessarily put this on his body. But the great thing is you can use essential oils with pets also. And lavender oil is just nice and calming. So a good thing to have nearby. And then, of course, a yoga mat. Yoga mat you don't really even have to have. You can just sit on the floor. Or if it's more comfortable, take a seat on your couch. All right, so we're going to begin by getting centered while Mookie grooms. He's very, very busy this morning. And so coming to a comfortable seat. So here's where a block could be handy. And you could place that right under your sitting bones, particularly some people just aren't comfortable hanging out on the floor. So absolutely fine. You can elevate the hips with something like a block, or you can move over onto a couch setting, and that might be more comfortable for you. So just find something that feels good for your body and allows you to stay nice and close to your pup. So coming to a comfortable seat, whatever that is for you, and I'm sitting cross-legged. You can't really see it because Mookie's blocking it, but it's one heel in front of the other. So we're not breaking out full lotus pose. This is a very kind of soft, easy, gentle cross-legged pose with one heel in front of the other. And then see if you can come directly on top of your sitting bones. Those are the bony parts of the bum. And then get your shoulders over your hips. So we're sitting up nice and tall. Then I like to bring one hand onto Mookie's kind of chest or heart center, something that's like nurturing and gives a little reminder that we are connected in this moment. And again, one of the great things about Doga is it allows you to connect with your pup beyond your daily walks or your daily feedings. So if you're comfortable, maybe closing your eyes, again, hand on your pup wherever feels most comfortable, if they're not busy grooming themselves at the moment. And let's take a few deep breaths together. So inhale through the nose, 2, 3, 4. Exhale through the nose, 2, 3, 4. Again, inhale. And if you'd like to give a few scratches, and exhale. And then once more, inhale. And exhale. And take a moment here to set an intention for your practice today. So with your Doga practice, is thinking of what would you like to bring forth from this of quality time with your pets or even with yourself. If you're doing this solo, you don't have to have a dog nearby, particularly if they would rather be frolicking outside or grooming across the room. So creating an intention. And then take a big breath through the nose. Exhale through the mouth. And let your eyes flutter open. Great, so again, a big welcome to Doga with Kimberly and Mookie, who is very busy this morning. So we're going to begin with a seated forward fold. So we've worked with seated forward folds with both legs extended, but what we're going to do this time is have one knee bent. So extending either leg, we just want to make sure we get both. So I'm going to extend my left leg first and then have my right heel drawn in and foot at the inner thigh. So this pose is great because, again, you can have your pup nearby, kind of draw them into the nook. Let's see if he'll take a moment from his grooming practices. Yeah. And then sometimes he'll just kind of like rest right into the nook. Right, Mook? And then so you want to get your hips so they're facing forward. Flex that left foot. And then sitting up nice and tall. And then again here, in this practice, in this pose, you can stay connected with your pup. And then you're going to fold forward. So you may fold forward just a smidgen, just a little bit, or you may want to take it a little bit deeper. Some of you may be able to reach for the outside of the foot or the ankle or the shin, or you may want to keep your hands on your pup as you fold forward. And then breathing here. So this is called Janu Sirsasana, and it's basically head to knee pose. And as you can tell, it gives a little hip opener, also awakens the back of the leg. So we're going to inhale as we lengthen through the spine, exhale, and fold. If you feel any discomfort, particularly in the lower back, go ahead and bend your left knee slightly and then fold forward. And you may notice your pup come a little bit more alive as you get a bit closer. And just breathing here. And you can stay here for, we're just going to be here for a few breaths. You could stay here for a minute, a few minutes. Staying aware of your breath. Staying aware of the physical sensations in the body, like I feel a little something going on in the back of my leg, so the hamstring, also in the lower back and the middle back, because it's almost like the body does a gentle twist to be able to go towards that left leg. And then we're going to bring this left arm, now we're going to do a twist. We're going to bring that left arm to the inside of the left leg. So whichever leg you have extended, go ahead and place the same arm inside. And then we're going to reach the other arm up and over. So this turns into more of a side twist. And then you can drop onto the hand or the forearm, and then bring this upper arm, which is my right arm, over. And then we're twisting toward the right side, away from that leg. Breathing here. So it's an inhale, lengthen, exhale, twist. So the other one was a forward fold. This is a twisting open. And again, you can give a little love to your pup if they're not too busy doing their own thing. Mookie's quite independent. He dogas when he wants to doga. And so reach, reach, reach. And then inhale, lift up. Then we're going to cartwheel this right arm behind you, and then lift through the left arm, press into that right knee, and lift your hips. So this is the back bend that I mentioned, and this back bend is really nice for the chest. And then if you want to also work on the shoulders, you can bring this left arm up and around a few times, both directions, and lubricating the joints. And release. All right, so we get to repeat on the other side. So I'm going to draw my left leg in, extend my right leg out, of course, working around Mookie's grooming practices. And then my left foot goes to my inner right thigh. Then I draw that right leg, excuse me, Mookie. I draw that right leg in front of my right hip. All right, so sitting up nice and tall. Find your sitting bones. This is where a block or blanket may come in handy if you feel like you're sitting back quite a bit, because we want to be on those sitting bones so that the pelvis can tip forward. All right, so right foot flexed. And then we're going to inhale, arms up, twist toward that right leg and fold. So again, here you can do a little connection to your pup. Say a little hello as you're folding forward. Yes. Breathing here. So again, we're trying to get the chest and the torso so it moves towards that right leg. Breathing here. You may notice too, one side may be different than the other. This side feels more open to me today. So again, with these practices, it's a lot about noticing, pausing, observing what is going on right now in the body. What's going on mentally in the mind? Is it racing ahead to what else is on the agenda for today? Or is it worried about something that happened yesterday? And with the practice of Doga, it's like, how do we get into the body, into this present moment, and also have the opportunity to connect? And then we're going to roll back up. And then bring this right arm inside the right leg. So maybe it's hands, maybe it's forearm. And we're going to twist over to the left and then bring this left arm up and over. So I'm reaching this left arm along my left ear. So again, you may be up here. That's perfect. You may be down a bit further. You may be reaching to the outside of the foot. So just kind of working at your own level. Also noticing what feels good to you, what allows you to still stay connected with your pup. And with the breath, we want to also stay quite connected to the breath, really noticing inhale through the nose, filling belly, ribs, and chest, and then exhaling through the nose, release chest, ribs, and belly. So big old opening here. And then we're going to lift up. So you're going to bring that left arm up and around. Drop the left hand down. Press into your left shin. Drop that right foot. Hi, Mookie. And then right arm up and over. He's like, where are you going? Reach, reach, reach. And then with this right arm, again, if you'd like to do a shoulder opener, it's always nice to move that shoulder into a circle. And release. Hello. It's so funny how they stay pretty engaged with you. They're like, what are you doing? All right, so now we're going to do one more back bend. So I promised back bends, so I want to make sure you get some good back bends. So remember, forward folds, nice and cooling, calming for the central nervous system. Back bends are more energizing, right? And they're also more opening across the chest versus the rounding motion. So with this one, very simple. You can do this at your desk chair at work. You would be, of course, seated in a chair, or you can be seated on the floor on a couch, legs extended. And then what we're going to do is bring our arms up and around, similar to what we just did in the other pose. Arms around, fingertips turn in toward the body. So you can stay right here. And you're going to draw those shoulder blades in, press the chest forward, and turn the gaze up. Now, if you want to take this a little bit deeper, you're going to bend your knees. So this would not be done on a chair or couch. So this is more for the floor. It's called tabletop. You're going to bend your knees, and you're going to lift through the hips. And then you want to adjust so that those hands are directly under shoulders. Lift through the hips, and then head can release. So you can release it completely, or I like to keep mine somewhat engaged. So you want feet under knees, hands under shoulders. Sometimes you'll find your pup will crawl underneath. It's like mine's running away. He's like, I'm out of here. and release. So that is tabletop. Come here, Mookie. We're not done with you. So I'm going to get my dog to come back. He's like, I'm out of here. I groomed, I got petted. All right. And then again here, this is one we have worked with a little bit, which is a nice one for core strengthening and for connection with their pup. So again, if you have a Great Dane or something quite large, this may not go over very well. So if you have a nice small one, like he's quite heavy. He's around 24-ish pounds. So to me, he's quite heavy. But if you have like a tiny little pup, it's great because you can lift and lower them. Lift and lower them. Him, I don't think it would go very well. So again here, keeping that lower back long, engaging the core. And release him down. And then we'll see if he'll sit. Great, thank you, Mookie. And so here I'm bringing the soles of my feet together. And I've got my knees open. So he's like, that was stressful. So I've got my knees open. And then what I'm going to do is a little forward fold here. So this one's different than having heels drawn all the way up. This is more of a rounding of the spine. And this one feels good for those hips and for the lower back. And it allows you to kind of put your pup into the little crook of the knees or the feet and really kind of draw in. Right, Mook Mook? Yes. So again, this can be done with a cat, probably a kid. I mean, it's like just incorporate the whole family on your mat. But this one is really sweet because it's like it does give you the opportunity to really kind of draw into them. And they don't know that really you're getting great benefits yourself. They think it's all about them. But really, you're getting a nice stretch through the hips, for the outer hips. And it just can feel really good to counter all that sitting that we do with commuting, sitting in chairs at the office, etc. And then rolling back up. Very good. So now we're going to come into relaxation. For relaxation, Mookie? That's like his favorite thing. So one thing too that I find, since I have a very anxious dog, I do a lot of massaging of the ears. I don't know if that's a thing or not, if that actually does calm him, but it seems to, and it seems to really get his attention whenever he gets a bit wound up. So it's like hands under the ears and then just kind of massaging. He's got pretty big ears. And then massaging towards the end. He seems to really like that. Anything to calm him. Right, Mookie? Are you ready for relaxation? Can you come here? Yeah. All right. There you go. Good boy. Yes, good boy. He's going to lie down and roll over. He loves to roll. Can I pull you back? So, again here, it's nice to lie down. So I'm doing kind of like an opposite spoon. We're facing each other. And lying down. And then I'll put my hands to rest it on my head to rest it on my hand, just so I can stay supported and engaged. Otherwise, you could extend the arm out and release down. And again, this allows you to get a little rest after your movement practices, but it also allows you to stay connected. Now, typically Shavasana is done on your back, eyes closed. But in order to keep this connection going with Mookie, I'm resting on my side and facing him. And then at that same time, I can do a little massaging, a little patting around the ears. And if you'd like here too, his eyes are starting to close, so you could then close your eyes and allow yourself to do a bit of softening and melting into the pose without having to be very engaged. And just notice how and if the body or mind feel different than they did when you began your practice.
And you can stay here as long as you'd like. Typically a couple minutes is great, but if you want to stay here 10, 15, 20, 30 minutes, just kind of resting, it can be really, really helpful. Just giving yourself that midday break, or even starting your day this way or ending your day. And then I'm going to press into the floor, lifting up, and then come back to where we began today, which is to comfortable. This is Sukhasana. Hopefully you can see it now since he was blocking earlier. So one heel in front of the other, and again, you can use a block to elevate hips. And then I'll just come back to resting here, one hand on my heart center, one on his. And take 3 deep breaths. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. And letting your eyes flutter open. So thank you all so much for being here. That's for our 4th episode of Doga with me, Kimberly, and him, Mookie, the rogue pug, the anxious rogue pug. And also a big thank you to Wolf Driver. It's a treat to be here on the channel. And if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask. You can find me at KimberlyWilson.com. And then I also am happy to answer any questions if you want to put comments in the box, and then maybe in a future episode, like if you're like, oh, what do I do with my hips, or what about this with my dog and Doga, I'm happy to incorporate them into future episodes. So thank you as always for being here with us, and I'll see you again next Tuesday at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. Have a great, great week. Namaste.